Have you ever wondered how to unlock the full spiritual potential of your holy water? Imagine being able to activate its full power, allowing it to protect your home and cleanse your soul. Padre Pio, a man known for his deep spiritual wisdom, revealed how to do this, especially on significant days like the day of Fatima. Today, I'm going to share his teachings with you. Teachings that can transform how you use holy water in your daily life. In this video, I'll explain why holy water holds so much power and how Padre Pio used it to protect those he loved. Most importantly, we'll dive into the steps you must take on the day of Fatima to activate its full power. Holy water holds deep significance in the Catholic faith, as it is not simply water, but a sacramental tool that carries divine grace. Padre Pio, with his profound spiritual wisdom, emphasized the importance of holy water in the life of a believer. For him, holy water was not just a ritual, but a powerful means of connecting with God's grace and receiving his protection. It was a reminder of baptism and the purification of the soul, offering a continual cleansing of spiritual impurities. Padre Pio believed that the power of holy water lies in its connection to the divine, which is activated through prayer and blessing. When holy water is blessed by a priest, it becomes infused with the power of the Holy Spirit, making it an instrument for spiritual protection. Padre Pio's teachings about holy water emphasized its role as a shield against the forces of evil, a tool to protect the home and family, and a way to invoke God's grace in times of need. Holy water, when used with faith, is a means of inviting God's presence into one's life. It serves as a spiritual weapon against temptation, providing strength and protection. Padre Pio taught that holy water was not just for cleansing, but also for creating a sacred atmosphere in the home. He encouraged the faithful to use it regularly, to bless their homes, and to seek God's protection from the negative forces in the world. On special occasions like the day of Fatima, Padre Pio believed the power of holy water was amplified. The day commemorates the apparitions of the Virgin Mary and Fatima, and for Padre Pio, it was a time of heightened spiritual grace. The use of holy water on this day was especially powerful, as it allowed the faithful to receive divine blessings and protection in a more profound way. It was a way of connecting with Mary's intercession and seeking her help in times of need. Padre Pio often reminded the faithful that holy water was not to be used casually. It was a sacramental, a blessed tool that required reverence and faith. The power of holy water comes from the grace it carries, and its effects are most potent when it is used with the proper intention. It is a way of opening oneself to God's presence and inviting his protection into every aspect of life. For Padre Pio, the act of using holy water was a reminder of the continual need for purification and spiritual growth. It was a way of sanctifying the ordinary moments of life and living with constant awareness of God's presence. Holy water helped the faithful stay focused on their spiritual journey and reminded them of the importance of maintaining a close relationship with God. In conclusion, holy water is a sacred tool that carries deep spiritual significance. For Padre Pio, it was a means of connecting with divine grace and protection. Through its use, the faithful could purify their homes, protect their families, and seek God's guidance. Holy water, when used with faith, was a powerful instrument for spiritual growth, reminding the faithful of their need for continual purification and closeness with God. To activate the full power of holy water, Padre Pio taught that the act of blessing and using it must be done with intentionality and deep faith. It is not enough to simply have holy water in the home. It must be approached with reverence and understanding. Padre Pio emphasized that the true power of holy water lies in its connection to God's grace, and the individual's faith is what activates this grace. Without faith, holy water remains just ordinary water, but when used with prayer and intention, it becomes a spiritual weapon. The key to unlocking the full potential of holy water is to prepare your heart and mind before using it. Padre Pio believed that prayer was the starting point. The prayer must be heartfelt and sincere, asking God to bless the water and allow it to become a channel of divine protection and grace. The use of holy water is not a mere ritual. It is a spiritual act that requires the individual to be spiritually prepared and open to God's intervention. Padre Pio often spoke of the importance of personal consecration when using holy water. The individual must dedicate themselves to God, offering their intentions and desires for grace, healing, or protection. This dedication turns the simple act of sprinkling holy water into a powerful spiritual event. For Padre Pio, the most effective way to activate the power of holy water was to invoke the intercession of the Virgin Mary, especially on significant days such as the Day of Fatima. During the Day of Fatima, Padre Pio encouraged the faithful to use holy water not only for protection, but also for purification. By praying for cleansing and renewal, the individual invites God's grace to wash over them, removing spiritual blockages and impurities. It is also a time to pray for the healing of relationships, for peace in the home, and for protection from any harmful influences. As the water is blessed and used, it becomes a symbol of the divine presence, drawing down God's favor into the home and the hearts of those who are praying. The key to activating the full power of holy water also involves regular use. Padre Pio did not view holy water as a one-time fix. He encouraged the faithful to keep holy water in their homes, using it as a constant reminder of God's presence and as a means of staying spiritually focused. Holy water should be sprinkled over doorways, windows, and even placed near the bed to sanctify the entire home. The power of holy water increases when used in times of spiritual warfare. When faced with temptation, illness, or difficulties, Padre Pio advised the faithful to use holy water as a means of strengthening their faith and seeking God's protection. It is through prayer, regular use, and faithful intention that the water becomes a spiritual shield. To activate the full power of holy water, it is essential to remember that it is not the water itself that holds the power, but the grace of God that flows through it. The faith and prayer behind the use of holy water are what transform it into a means of divine intervention. Padre Pio believed that this practice of using holy water, especially during spiritually significant times, brought the individual closer to God, allowing them to receive the graces and blessings God desires to give. In conclusion, activating the full power of holy water requires more than just having it in your possession. It requires faith, intention, and dedication. When used with prayer and reverence, holy water becomes a tool of protection, healing, and grace. Padre Pio's teachings emphasize that it is not the water itself, but the connection to God's grace that makes holy water so powerful. With the proper use, holy water can become a spiritual shield that brings divine favor into our homes and lives. On the Day of Fatima, using holy water becomes a powerful spiritual practice. This day, commemorating the apparitions of the Virgin Mary to the 3 shepherd children in Fatima, is marked by an intense call to prayer, reflection, and purification. To fully activate the power of holy water on this sacred day, it must be used with intentionality, faith, and reverence. The first step is to bless the water with a prayer of purification. Padre Pio believed that the water, once blessed, becomes a sacred instrument through which God's grace flows. The blessing is not just an external ritual, but a moment where the individual opens their heart to receive divine protection. It is essential to approach this moment with humility, asking for God's mercy and grace to flow through the holy water. Once the water is blessed, it is time to use it for cleansing and protection. Padre Pio recommended sprinkling the holy water in significant places, such as doorways, windows, and rooms, where the family gathers. As the water is sprinkled, one should pray for the protection of the home, asking for God's grace to shield it from any spiritual harm. This practice is particularly important on the day of Fatima, because it marks a time of renewed grace and intercession from the Virgin Mary. In addition to sprinkling the holy water, Padre Pio emphasized using it for personal purification. The individual should take some water and gently sprinkle it over themselves, saying a prayer asking for the removal of negative influences and the purification of the heart. This act of spiritual renewal on such a significant day allows the faithful to draw closer to God and be spiritually strengthened. As the day of Fatima is a time for intense devotion and connection to Mary, using holy water is an act of spiritual alignment. It is an opportunity to ask for Mary's intercession in areas of one's life that need healing, protection, or guidance. In doing so, the individual not only activates the power of holy water, but also places themselves in a posture of openness to divine blessings. To maximize the spiritual benefit of holy water on the day of Fatima, Padre Pio encouraged the faithful to use it with a sense of urgency and reverence. It should not be a passive practice, but a vibrant expression of faith. The faithful are encouraged to invoke God's presence with every use, aligning their hearts with His will and asking for divine intervention in their lives. By using holy water in this way, particularly on the day of Fatima, the faithful participate in a profound act of spiritual purification and protection. Padre Pio's guidance serves as a reminder that holy water, when used with the right intent, becomes a powerful tool for drawing closer to God and receiving His abundant blessings. When the power of holy water is activated, its effects are profound and far-reaching. It acts as a spiritual shield, protecting individuals and homes from negative influences. Padre Pio believed that holy water connects the faithful to God's grace. By blessing and using it with faith, it becomes a tool for protection against the forces of evil. The water sanctifies the space it touches, acting as a barrier to temptation and darkness and maintaining a peaceful spiritual environment. Holy water also has a healing power. Padre Pio often spoke about its ability to heal not just the body, but the soul as well. It removes spiritual blockages and brings divine healing to those in need. The act of using holy water invites God's grace into one's life, allowing for emotional and physical healing. For Padre Pio, holy water was a means of spiritual renewal, reminding the faithful of their baptismal grace and the need for ongoing purification. Additionally, holy water promotes inner peace. Padre Pio believed that using holy water in times of distress could calm the heart and restore balance. It helps in overcoming spiritual dryness and brings a sense of serenity. By invoking God's presence through holy water, one can experience peace even in moments of anxiety. In homes, holy water transforms the atmosphere. It makes the home a place of spiritual protection. Padre Pio encouraged the faithful to keep holy water at entrances and use it regularly to create a sanctuary of peace. Ultimately, the power of holy water lies in its ability to protect, heal, and renew. It strengthens faith, brings peace, and deepens the connection to God's grace. When used with sincerity and devotion, holy water becomes a sacred instrument for inviting divine blessings into one's life.